Hello and welcome back to part 3 of the lip sync demonstration. In this section we're going to be looking at importing an audio clip and also how to work with the markers inside the animation mixer. So first of all, why don't we create a little audio track. So there you go, I'm going to create 2 of them. And then I'm going to go right mouse click, load source from file, and I'm going to pick up this little wave that I've got which is called torrefaction. So let's select it and let's go OK. The first thing we're going to do, of course, is position the little clip where we want it to start at frame 1 like this. And then I'm going to press the letter S because I would like to be able to see a little bit more clearly the wave that is displayed onto the clip. And I'm just going to press the letter X on my keyboard just to zoom in a little bit and go to the side so we can really, see it. All right. So why don't we listen to what the good old doctor is supposed to say, and then after that we're going to start to work on it. So the first thing I'm going to do is, of course, press Control, and I'm going to hit the playback button to play in real time.
The torrefaction process is almost complete.
You can even see, like the doctor smiling at the end. Of course, what we want to do with this is to be able to break down the track that we've got here so that we're going to be able to animate the shape of the mouth of our character. In this case here, you've noticed that we can play back in real time, but also inside XSI, you can scrub the timeline and here a mode that we call the direct seek. So you've noticed that it's choppy and it plays, like every single frame. This is what we call the direct seek. But inside XSI, if you click on the little playback button down here, you can go under playback audio preferences and there you go. We've got a whole bunch of parameters here that you can go and change. So I'm just going to toggle this one off for now because I want to show you what are the different possibilities that you have. First of all, at the beginning here, it says real-time playback. That means that whenever you're playing back in real time, it's always going to play, like at 100%. It's always going to be exactly the same thing as what was recorded. Of course, if we would be to slow this down to 80%, you're going to notice that if I go again, Control Playback, so the speed is slower, the pitch went down. This is really useful. Some people really only want to work in this mode to be able to clearly identify where the sounds are starting. Or some other people, what they like is to work, with a really high-pitched one. And if we do it,
the torrefaction process,
we can see that it's a lot funnier also. Anyway, so I'm going to switch it back, like to 100%, and we're going to look at the scrubbing because this is what we're mostly going to be working with. First of all, the default scrub mode is the direct seek, like I showed you before. But we've got other modes that you can switch to. First of all, this one here, the play vary speed. The play vary speed is a reminder of the old Steinbecks or the editors that were working in the past, and they were just scrubbing on the timeline, and you want the machine to be able to catch up to where the cursor is positioned. Watch this. So it's just, like moving along onto the clip, and it's going to go super fast, and then it's going to slow down. It's just trying, like to catch up to where the cursor is positioned. So the play vary speed, some people really like that. The other one also that we've got is the play real time. But the play real time and scrubbing is really interesting because you can just scrub a small part, and it's just going to play that part there. So this is pretty good for identifying also what is being said. The last one down here, the play user rate. The play user rate is linked to the user rate that we've got down here. That means that if I switch this down, like to 80, and I just, like scrub the timeline. So it's trying to catch up, of course, to where the mouse cursor is positioned, but it's going to be playing at 80%. What is really nice is that underneath here, you've got alternate scrub mode. That means that by pressing Shift, you can activate this one. This means if you really like to work in the direct seek mode, you can have that. And if you want to hear the stuff, at a slower speed, all you need to do is press Shift and just move it around. So this is a nice way of combining 2 tools that you are really used to working with. Of course, down here, the play audio when scrubbing, if you toggle this off, we won't hear much. Everything, like has been muted. So let's toggle it on. The last tool that I'm going to show you is this one here, the quick loop. The quick loop is really nice because it enables you to target a specific area with predefined limits. In this case here, activate it, and it's going to play 10 frames before and after where the cursor is positioned. All you need to do is keep on pressing the left mouse button, and it's just going to loop in that area. For example, let's go down here.
Faction, 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 faction.
So it's going to play until you're going to let go of the mouse. So all of these tools that we've got down here really makes your life a lot easier for breaking down the lip sync. Okay, so now that we understand what are the audio tools, why don't we just go and set a couple of markers? So like I did before, I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger so that everybody can see it clearly on their monitor. Now I'm going to press the letter M to activate the marker. I get this funky icon, and what I want to do is that I want to create a marker right here. So what you need to do is click directly where the clip is. If you click outside, nothing is going to happen. XSI needs to understand to what clip the marker is going to be attached to. In this case, it's on this one. So let's just left mouse click, and then we just drag it out. Oh, I forgot to show you. This here is the first part where the character is going like, and then after that, this is the second part. So that's how he says the. So I want to get my second marker right here for the V. Okay. If we want to modify what those markers are saying, you can select it, press enter, and you get the property page that belongs to it. What we can do is change the name. The name of this one is going to be TH. So let's put, like big letters. So engage capital lock, put the TH there. And then let's go to the other one underneath and press TH as well. Now notice, as soon as I'm going to press enter, you're going to notice that the marker will actually pick up that name. The value here means the name of the marker in the mixer, and the name TH up here means that this is the name that's given to the marker, but in the original source that belongs to the mixer of Dr. Beck Bunsen. The other thing you can do also is give it a type. It can be, like a phoneme, it can be a range, an emotion, a contact, whatever, like suits your need for identifying the information. So let's go for phoneme. Select the second one. Bling, and my property page updated, and this one is going to be the E. Big E, big E. What I want to show you in this example here is the marker level display. That means that because I've got my markers like this, and they could be overlapping, maybe I want them to be, like on 2 levels. All I need to do is click on this and go to a level 1. You're going to see that now they're in a little staircase kind of style. And I really like it. When I'm working and breaking down the audio, I like to have it like this so I can clearly identify where they start and stop. Because this guy actually could be, like down here, or it could be a little bit earlier. It depends, like where you're setting all of your markers. So in this case here, we're going to leave them like that. I don't want to bore you to death, with all of the rest, because it becomes, like pretty much, like the same thing. That means that when you're down here, this is the TH. So let's set a marker right down here. We've got the O for toe, and then we've got an R. We've got the R down here, and then after that, we've got an A. Let's set them up, like this really quickly. Now, what I'll do is that press spacebar to get out of this, press the letter X to get a little bit closer to them. If I select the first marker, of course, I get my property page again, and this one we identified it as the letter T. So let's do that. T, we're going to leave it at 0. Then after that, this is the O. So let's go for the big O, and the level is going to be 1. And this one here, that's to Ray, so that's the R. R again. Let's leave it at 0. And the last one here is going to be to Ray, so that's the A again. Let's leave it at a level of 1. One thing that you've noticed is that I didn't change the marker type. It's because once I've done, like all of my things, I can select all of these markers. The property page will update in multi-mode, and I can say, okay, well, set all of them to be phoneme. The other little trick that I want to show you is that when you select one marker, you can always decide of the time span or at what frame it starts. So you can move this around like this, and you can even, like make it longer for the duration. What you can do also is that you can interact with the marker by changing it like this, or you can press Alt at the end, and then you can make them, like bigger or smaller. The last thing I want to show you in regards to the markers is that if later on you've got the same letter that comes again, we've got an A right down here because it says Torre action. So the A that we've got here, all we need to do is select that marker, press Control, and we just move it down, and it becomes a new entity. We can select this, and we can change, like all of the parameters. Okay, so we just went over the audio and the markers tool. I'm going to stop there. Please join me for part 4 as we're going to be looking into the dope sheet and also the animation editor for some cool tools to help you out in doing all of the lip sync. This is Eric Goulet signing off, WXSI News in Montreal.